the nature of running, it's an impact activity, and if you're doing it every day and you're not getting enough recovery, you're gonna develop these repetitive stress injuries. And there's all kinds of them. There's your shin splints. There's your runner's knee.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly, yeah.
There's the
or even lower back.
Yeah,
pain,
for some people, for sure, lower back, IT band friction
right.
syndrome
God,
for some people. So these are all repetitive stress type things. So I would say first off, you need to do the fundamentals, and it's not flashy. And I think a lot of us sometimes just need to sit back and go, we need to do the basics before we start looking for the golden nugget that's going to solve all our problems, because it really doesn't exist outside of the basics.
Right.
I know a lot of very talented, skilled athletes in the running world, and they spend more time on these basics than everything else. They get to everything else.
Right, okay.
But they spend the majority of their time doing these things, and it's not glamorous.
Okay.
Right? You're not going to see a commercial for the Olympics of them doing the basics.
Right.
What I really mean is if you're not sleeping well, you're probably going to get injured pretty soon. You're not giving your body the chance to recover. There's so much recovery elements that happen with a full and restful night's sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not doing that, you're going to run into trouble.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not effectively hydrating, not just during your activity, but just through the day, you're going to have trouble recovering and dealing with fatigue. That's just going to be lingering. Some of us don't realize it until we stop and take care of these things, and then you look back and go, wow, I can't believe how I was getting by with so much fatigue present in our system. So doing that's important. Making sure you're getting just the fundamentals of your nutrition, making sure you're getting enough calories. Right? A lot of us are often told we need to eat less to lose weight and everything. Or there's a lot of it's a big discussion point.
That's another discussion for another time.
For sure. But making sure you're getting enough of your high quality protein, and that's just the normal things you would see in its natural form. Your meats and fish, your dairies, your beans and legumes, those plant-based proteins that are adequately paired with the other half to get your complete protein. We can get into that some other time, but making sure you're getting that protein to allow for the tissue recovery is critical, right? So you're going to sleep to allow your body to have the time to rebuild, but we can't rebuild if we don't have the raw materials to rebuild with, or at least not enough, right? It's like sending a work crew to build a house but not giving them the lumber to do it, or not enough lumber. It's just not you're not gonna get the product that you want out of it, and you're not gonna recover. In our example with running, you're not gonna recover adequately without that. So making sure you do that is critical. So those are the fundamentals. They're not flashy, but sometimes doing that quick self-assessment, if you have something that tracks it, it's always helpful because it takes your biases out of it.
Yeah, for sure.
But making sure you do some of that stuff is a critical piece. And I'm telling you that I've done this with elite athletes too, where we just have to get them to start sleeping. Get them to drink, a couple liters of water, especially in the summer when it's hot. Getting people to eat enough protein for their size. To repair.
For their size.
Getting the breadth of the micronutrients, your vitamins and minerals, through a variety of colors of fruits and vegetables and all that stuff. It's not flashy, but it does so much. That's what the best in the world are doing. And you know what? All of us have a starting point. That's where you're starting. Start where you're at. Don't try and go from where you're at to what an elite athlete or runner is going to be doing. I've gone out with Coach Saul and had lunch, and he doesn't eat perfectly either.
I know.
Just so you guys know. But what I'm saying is do a little bit more. Do a little bit better. We're not looking for best, we're looking for a little bit better.
A little bit better, yeah.
Right, so if you're not getting enough hydration, and that means hydrating fluids, not just any fluids, but hydrating fluids, so the alcohols and the caffeine-based energy drinks, coffees, teas, they're not hydrating.
No,
They send it through. We want those hydrating, your waters and other things like that, making sure you're getting enough of those. And that goes up with the heat. Right, and that goes up with your activity. So on an activity day, you might be consuming more water than you are on a day where you're only stretching, or an off day. So being able to manage that. One of the things I always say to people is, there's all kinds of stuff we can do to improve your nutrition, but pick something where there's a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10 chance that you can improve it.
Right.
So if it's adding another glass of water before you go to bed, or when you first wake up in the morning, probably better, because you don't want to be getting up to empty the bladder too much. But
right.
if it's something simple as that, start with that. Do it for a week, and once you can do that, add something else where there's a 90 to 100% chance that you could do it.
Right.
So do those self-assessments. Say, I just want it to be a little bit better than it was last week. Right?
Perfect. Yeah.
So those are some of the things that I would suggest people do to manage their recovery. And then you mentioned before the 80-20 rule.
Yeah, so we'd be getting back more into the physical side, but it's still very important. It was really cool, I think, the 80-20 rule that a lot of people don't realize, because on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and on TV, all you see is people going guns a-blazing, race pace all the time.
That's right. Yeah. So we have talked about this earlier on, where I spoke to 2 days a week. Right? So the 80-20 rule is basically up to 20% of your running training is the more intense, the harder type training. 80% of it is easy. It's something that's not stressing the system. And a lot of that is developing the recovery elements of your body, giving your cells the chance to divide and fix the body. Some of it is at a certain state, it's going to be developing just that aerobic capacity. A lot of people don't realize this, but your aerobic system is very much involved with your recovery state. When you have fatigue elements in your body, that aerobic system is the energy source that's causing that recovery. So that baseline aerobic capacity that we want to work on helps you recover in an actual activity session, but also after the fact. Right. So doing mostly that and a little bit of the hard stuff, that 20% hard stuff, 80% easy stuff, then you're gonna recover adequately, and you're less likely to get those repetitive stress injuries.
Right.